how many of us are really bullish, super bullish on this asset? If you actually look at it on a daily chart, XRP just shows you the fact that it is bouncing off from a support level. And just not that. When you zoom out, you see that support came in as a higher level of support. And as you zoom out, you will see we are doing something similar from a long period of time. We are climbing these ladders. We are moving up. Do you notice something? There is something evolving in this asset where the price action is steadily going to the upside. That looks super bullish. Why? Because when you go back and take a chart, which is like last 1 year at least, that kind of shows you, okay, things are evolving. What do I mean by that? Watch. This is what we have seen historically. Last time when we reached here, which is mid-September, I told you guys we're going to come back down to test this level as a double bottom. Now we have that. We bounced after making this double bottom. That, for me, looks super bullish. Now, yes, you do have this level as your neckline resistance. We want to see that break. Accept it. But understand one thing. As you zoom out, say you go on even macro chart, you take a weekly chart for that matter. What do you see? This is something we just talked about in a 3-day chart, which happened previously, which showed you that it's going to bounce off. Now that's happening on a weekly. Last time that formed, it did push the price to the upside. Great. So it is something that we should not forget, because historically speaking, for this asset, when you go back, you see these patterns just before we take off in terms of the price action. Yes, the price dropped, it consolidated in a level, and then you got that pattern before you started that burst. So right now, when we are doing that, what do you think is going to come next? I think that the price is going to burst from here, and I'll explain why I think so. Welcome to the Scientific Investor Family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Right now, there are different assets moving really good. Say Bitcoin SV is 35% up for the day. When you look at Stellar, it's 20% up for the day. So in the market, you do see all of these assets running up. And if you knew this, yeah, we already informed you. Watch this. If you are a low risk guy with a lot of time, then you're looking at these kind of opportunities. If you are a trader looking at multiple levels, then these are the assets you're looking at. Remember, when it was at $12.50, I was like, okay, wait for this. As soon as that happens, it is going to be an opportunity. Why? That's a falling wedge. Falling wedge shows you a possibility that it breaks to the upside 65% of the time, somewhere like 63, 65%. That means it's an opportunity, and as soon as it did that, we followed it through. This is not like 10 months back. This is like a month back. We were at $15, and I'm like, okay, this is a massive opportunity. You're breaking through, you're moving up. That's the call, breakout opportunity. And remember, that was $15, and right now it is standing at $72. Now we followed it through. Each time it was going up, I was like, okay, take some profits. It may actually pull back. Great. It went up, it slowed down, then again, it did all those. When it went up to 40, 45, I was like, take profits. It dropped 27, and I was like, okay, this looks like a buying opportunity. What happens after that? From 27, you run up, it's reaching the next level of the target. So once you have all these targets set, you now know why the price is slowing down at different ranges. Because people do have these measured move and they do take profits. That's why the price slows down. So if you want to take that advantage, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below, where you can also get to talk to me on one-on-one sessions, in person. You get to ask anything about your portfolio, the macro, the micro, about finance, and you can better educate yourself to understand what the market is doing and how you can improve your position in the market. Now, let's actually jump into XRP. On a weekly chart, we just discussed about all these scenarios, and we understand, great, each time that happens, the market shows some bullish things. Great. We understand that. So we're trying to break the market down in a way that what can we expect? We need to understand that. Last time we did this, the price followed through, went up. We hit a level of resistance, we came back down. Now we're making that as a double bottom. So as we go back up, one of the easy things to look for is your RSI. The previous support has turned into a resistance. If you see that breaking to the upside, don't doubt it's going to go up. Look at the volume. The volume is coming in. It's getting a follow through. That's a good sign. Now, you can go on a daily to actually break things even more and look for like, okay, what's the volatility like? Right now, you actually can see like, okay, we're getting slowed down near this range, which was the previous level of resistance. So you're not actually getting a lot of strength to break that through. But the positive thing here is that we are trending higher. But what's the negative here? That's something you need to understand. If we reject at this level, if we get rejected at this particular level, that means you may see RSI coming back down to 39.40 and then bouncing off, which means the price may actually do a 2 or 3 rising candles here. The 3 rising or 2 rising can actually happen here. We just saw that happening on Bitcoin chart. So we cannot actually neglect the fact that something like that is possible here. Or even, XRP usually do a ABC corrective pattern. This should be watched for. Say if you actually go back and the price action, if you note it here, you'll actually be able to see when XRP does these corrections and you put it on a line chart, it's easier for you to watch. The A, B, C, and it's done, then you go back up. So you want to actually look at these in the price action and understand that yes, the price action is showing you some signals and you take that as a benefit. Now, yes, I agree the overall market kind of dipping on Bitcoin. This is where Bitcoin is now. Remember one thing. This is really important. Visualizing the market before something happens is important. When we were here, I know even the individuals I respect, CMTs, saying this is a double top, right? Now, this is an individual I respect heavily. And I was like, I have my own thought process where I'm conflicting in that. We may go up. Now, it's not just saying that, but I posted it for you guys saying, read through that. I was like, this is a bluff, guys. I think this is an opportunity zone. We should go back up, right? And we were like, just below 26,000. We were flirting around that 25,000 range. Now, if we come back into the market, what happened in the price action is you went back up. You came close to 30,400. That is not a small deal. Now you want to see, okay, what does that mean for the Bitcoin price action on a weekly? You want to actually understand how things are evolving, because when you go on a weekly, here for me personally, I'm looking at the RSI. This is the trend line. We're breaking through that trend line. For me, this is massively bullish. Massively bullish. You need to understand, we put in a low, which is above a support. We're bouncing off. Instead of getting this double top here, what you are looking at is a possible double bottom. Yes, it's not confirmed. You need to get a break of 32,000 and then you go like a rocket. For sure, you're going to watch something like that coming in here. MACD on a weekly for Bitcoin is in the positive zone, not the negative. That's where you actually see momentum increasing. Go back in history, you would have always watched. This happens. Boom, the price pops. So that is something you need to actually keep in your mind. Now, you can actually go through all these macro charts to see what we are doing, because when you actually look at a monthly chart, you can just take a line chart. And when you do that, you understand the fact that, okay, what are we doing here? We broke above the moving average, 21. I'm using an exponential, trying to closely follow the price. Now, if you want to look at the standard, you can just put it here, reduce this. You'll see this. First, you got rejected. Next, you broke that to the upside. Now, whether you use the exponential or the normal one, you actually see this. Exponential, I'm using that to understand how we are making it like a little bit closer to that price action. Now, here, you didn't actually move into the negative territory. You came back into the positive territory and you're trying to cross back to the upside on a monthly, which is actually a massive thing to watch for Bitcoin. Now, if you understand that correctly, that means the price is breaking through the moving average. Historically, when you do that, that's a confirmation of something bullish. See, you look at this when this was your range where you were doing this crazy stuff. You broke below that and that was your downside. So from that 35, you went down to 15. Great. Now, if you break through the year, you're not talking about this level of 35. I would say more or less like we may get a big resistance close to $47, $50,000 in Bitcoin. That means you will watch the price moving up. But what's the catch here? Because we are in XRP, we are in other altcoins. The catch here is the Bitcoin dominance, if it's actually grinding higher, just like we discussed, it should actually come somewhere close to 60% as a resistance. That's what I'm looking at. And when that happens, I believe that it's going to push Bitcoin dominance down. It's going to push money into the altcoins. You're going to watch a lot of altcoins popping left and right during that time. But even while Bitcoin is running up, I personally believe that, now, it's not I believe, I'm showing you, right? Assets do like this. They run higher than what Bitcoin is doing because Bitcoin is up like 3% and you're watching some of them 20, some of them 35. Why is that? They're highly correlated, and the amount of money which is going into Bitcoin compared to these small coins, they don't need that much liquidity to push the price up. So you get the point. You need to watch all these patterns, and when you understand there is a breakout, a retest and a confirmation, now that's your signal. You should understand where your targets are. That's where you take profit. So that kind of gives you a better edge over the market. Now, why is all this important? Because when you understand the timing well, you can now connect the actual fundamentals or the news and narratives happening in the market. So this is something related to what's happening on the XRP side of things. We just had great news. That's one of the reasons why the price moved back up for XRP. Now, this is pro-crypto guy coming in as a speaker candidate. And I'm like, okay, that's actually good. That's a house speaker, and it does look good. Because the last guy and this guy has a lot of difference towards crypto. Now, we also have to understand that, liquidity is going to be a huge thing, not just for crypto, for the entire world in the current scenario. The banks are getting crushed. The rates are sky high. Normal guy is getting crushed, absolutely crushed. I don't even have a doubt about that. I'm going around, I'm watching how things are evolving in, kind of posh areas are now starting to see some tents at the borderlines. And I'm like, people are having trouble. Now, these are not just, kind of a druggies I'm talking about. These are guys who are working. I'm like, that doesn't actually look really good. Even after they sincerely work, they cannot afford a home. That's where the economy is going. So the cost of everything is going through the roof, and banks are going to get into an area where they'll start foreclosing on a lot of people. We are already watching them, inquiring with a lot of different guys. Say, we saw someone from BNS contacting different individuals asking, if you close your loan 21, 22, meaning, you started that at that time, that means they're asking, are you comfortable? Like at that time, the rates were slow and down, close to 1 or 2%. Now it's like 6-7%. And with the stress test, it's like 8%. That's too much. So the economy is not doing good, and the liquidity part is going to be huge. That's where I would put XRP and Ripple positioning themselves into that area where they are like, if you have money there, we're going to move it here. You want it, we do that for you in seconds. That is going to be a huge part of this, because when you understand that, this is about the actual thought process where you look at this and say, okay, that's an opportunity coming in, and we now literally understand like trillions of dollars, if not quadrillions, are about to come into this asset class. But not in all of these assets. For sure, we all understand that factor. It's not going to go into some meme coin. You know that. I know that. It's going to follow into some of these assets which actually abide by the regulations. So the clarity of that is important. So yeah, that's all true. Now, we are also watching something like this happening. Now, that dotted line is a projection. They're expecting it based on what they are watching. And I'm like, okay, that shows something good. Meaning, we've seen some of these moves, and right now that's trying to push through the roof. This is not a bad deal. That means people are getting more and more interested about the crypto market. So more and more money will be coming into them. We'll actually watch through all of this. We're actually watching, now literally, there's a gold bug, but still you understand the fact that they're giving you the idea gold price is going up, central banks are buying gold like crazy because the banking sector is dropping, the debt of each country is going through the roof, and this is happening across the board. And most of these Western countries right now have this as a huge trouble, especially if I'm looking at Canada, I would say, it doesn't look really great here. I'm watching that, right? I'm watching that. I'm talking to different individuals. I'm getting different news, and I'm like, that doesn't really look good. Like, say, one of the professor, financial economists, was saying, okay, if that's to happen, he thinks which is going to happen, but he was positioning himself a little bit defensive, saying, if that's to happen, 3 to 5 years, boom. But yeah, 10, 20 years, Canada is going to be a great place. But next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be a difficult place because of this just starting. Understand this. When it starts, whether it's a bull run or a crash like this, it starts slow. People are irritated. Like this. You're slow. At one point, you'll watch the price bursting through, and then the opportunity is missed if you are not positioned well enough. So we understand this is our economy. They are still trying to print more and more and more money into the system, which will again depreciate that. And that's where we're going. Like the national debt of the biggest economy in the world is now through the roof, and they still want to add more and more and more. So if you are saving in dollars, it doesn't actually look good. If you have dollar-based assets, there's a concern about liquidity. But as soon as you move out, you need to make sure you move into hard asset, real asset. If it's real estate, after it drops. If it's gold, silver, look where you can buy them and store them. It's going to be important. Now, jumping back into the crypto side, there's something we all understand, or we should understand. On a monthly chart, we're watching this asset is playing around with the moving average. We really want it to bounce back up. Say, if you look at it on the different segment, you can actually argue that, okay, we broke to the upside, we came back down, we are retesting it. We want to see it bounce because last time we did that was here. We played around with those two moving averages. We bounced off. If you actually look at the pattern here, I'm like, okay, that's cool. We're kind of doing something similar. If we are to do that here, boom, the price actually goes back up. Now, we don't want to hype it that way. We want to actually say what the market is showing us. That's what we do here. We're not trying to hype things out. So when you actually look at this, what do you understand here? The price literally, say, if you actually put in this, I would say there's something which we have seen historically. Whenever we do these kind of patterns, we do move back up. These kind of double bottoms kind of push the price back up, because when it happens on a trend line, this is really important. When you do this, your next bounce is going to be much, much bigger than what you have done in the past. So we can expect some big moves here, but the amount of patience you need for that is going to be much higher. We need to see whether XRP is going to move along with Bitcoin, because if it does, it's a good news. If it's not, you need more patience. You need to see Bitcoin hitting maybe 40, 45,000 and slowing down, where a lot of these altcoins are going to pop. That's where your opportunity is going to be. You don't want to miss that. And guys, again, if you are here and you haven't actually smashed that like button yet, please do that. That supports the channel a lot. And if you're receiving value, don't forget that. Smash that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do that. Now, if you are looking for these kind of calls, again, this is going to be a resourceful thing which you can do before the market actually pops. Because once it does, it's going to be congested. So guys, I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.